Our world is beautiful. For thousands of years, humanity and nature have coexisted on Earth, and as a society, we have always been driven by the hope that we can create a better future for ourselves. But society, as we know it, is at risk. The natural world is dying. Many animal species are facing extinction, and human overconsumption is the driving cause. Our societies are fracturing, with more and more divisions appearing between people. We continue to see racism, homophobia, and sexism in our communities. Many young people are going to bed without food. The coronavirus pandemic has affected us all, increasing loneliness and isolation as we navigate through this new normal. But for all of the issues that afflict our world, there are those who rise to counter them. Change is on the horizon if we work for it, and young people are at the forefront of that change. They are using their voices to stand up for what is right. They are the generation which will build a sustainable world, allow space for wildlife, put aside prejudices, lend a voice to those who need it, and come together to speak out against discrimination. Young people are shaping the world around us, and they know what we can do to make the world a better place.
Humans think that we are the only species on Earth that matter. Through this documentary, I want to change that perspective. Did you know that the insects in our gardens, who we consider tiny and insignificant, actually have a huge impact on our environment? Bees are a keystone species. If bees die off, it will end most forms of life. This is because bees are one of Earth's most important pollinators. Various animals and forms of wildlife depend on bees for pollination of their foods and their habitat. Imagine a species is the stone. We as humans think that species such as insects or other animals won't really affect our lives if they become extinct. But take a look at this example. Imagine the species is a stone and this is a lake. The lake is full of us. But, for example, if I drop the stone, it creates a ripple. It affects the entire area around it. That means if one species is extinct, then all the others will be affected by it. In my garden, I'm growing candy-tuft flowers. Do you want to know which types of flowers attract bees and pollinators? Well, here's my simple guide. Go to your local supermarket or gardening store and look for flower seeds which say something like this: attracts wildlife or plants for pollinators. This means that they are tasty and nice food for bees.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm 11 years old and I want to do what I can to help the wildlife. I've already started by placing things in my garden. Here is our birdhouse. It's got 3 rooms, and right now we can see 2 different birds building their own nests. Here is our bird station. We have 3 different types of feeders. This one mainly attracts goldfinches. This one attracts blue tits, and this one everything in between. Here we've cut the fence so that hedgehogs can come through into our garden. Right next to it is a house where they can rest for the night. So, these are the things that I've done, but what about you? I ask that all the people who have access to a back garden, please help the wildlife.
Well, let's talk about birds. In the cities, there are lots of birds, but not enough food for birds. And that's why we put up bird feeders to feed the birds. And We like hearing the bird songs, don't we? Yes, we do. Do you know why birds are very important? Because they spread more seeds from the plants, and they eat more, and they eat bugs. Lots of bugs from eating our plants that we grow.
There are many things that you can do to prevent climate change at home. Some of these things are: you can conserve water. If you're not using it, then turn it off. Reduce your waste and make it a habit to recycle too. Try and install renewable energy in your home. Walk and travel green. And last but not least, stand up and get involved and voice out your concerns.
Renewable energy projects are displacing tens of millions of tons of carbon every year, employing the equivalent of 17,700 people, and bringing the enormous socio-economic benefits to communities.
If you look over here, you can see that signs are being put up by the council, yet people have no respect towards our society and are inconsiderately just dumping waste.
I'll be primarily focusing on world hunger, as I believe that it's the biggest issue that we face today. And also, my favourite footballer, Marcus Rashford, has done a lot for starving children in the UK, and much like him, I am passionate to fix this problem. What are your thoughts on world hunger?
I think world hunger, the fact that it exists in the way it does today, with I think roughly 10% of the population suffering food insecurity, is tragic. When you look at what we've accomplished on a human scale in the last sort of 15 to 20 years when it comes to technological advances, transport, internet, agriculture, the fact that world hunger still exists on the scale it does today is a massive tragedy.
I want to help change the world by making sure everyone has clean and safe water. Having clean water and sanitation means being able to avoid exposure to countless diseases. Every year, millions of people die from diseases caused by inadequate water supply, sanitation, and hygiene. Clean water is essential not only to remain safe from diseases but also to maintain good health. If the crops and grains are giving contaminated water, the bacteria and diseases will spread to those who consume the fresh product. Therefore, water is used for agriculture must also come from safe and clean resources. For many people, their only source of water are shallow wells and near dirty swamps. During dry seasons, there are crowds at these wells, putting people's lives in risk.
According to the World Health Organization, in 2017, 144 million people collected untreated surface water from rivers, ponds, and streams.
According to a global baseline report, in 2018, 31% of schools in the world did not have access to clean water. This affected 570 million children in the world.
Another issue that I feel strongly about is for gender inequality. This is when girls and boys are treated differently to each other, even though they might like the same, do the same, and eat the same things. This makes some people afraid of their passion and their dreams because they think it's not right for that gender to do that or like that. Take this example of gender inequality. These are two pairs of clothes. These ones are the ones that I got from the girls' aisle in the market. These ones are from the boys' aisle in the market. You can see that both clothes are quite different to each other. You would have noticed the same yourself. The girls' aisle is usually light with pink and peach hues. The boys' aisle is a little dark with blues and greens. Take a look at this shirt. Funny, right? Never trust an atom. They make up everything. The sad part is that it was only available for boys. I looked all over the girls' aisle, but I couldn't find anything similar to this one. It seems like some stores think that science is for boys only. No, it's not. I'm a girl whose favorite subject is science, and I'm proud of it. But there is still hope. Some stores have started a good trend. They are selling all types of colors and all types of designs and textures for both boys and girls.
When a dictator took over Uganda, the dictator said that my grandpa had to leave or he would be killed, and this was all because of his ethnicities. Did you choose to stay or leave?
I decided to leave because I was threatened.
Were you allowed to bring any of your possessions when leaving?
Only 20 kilos.
How did you end up in England?
I went to Austria in Europe. My wife, your grandma, came to England. I went to Austria for 3 months. From there, with United Nations, I came to England because your grandma was here.
The way some people comment on refugees negatively, what would you say to them?
I just ignored them because I had to get on with my life.
Coronavirus has changed so many people's lives. We've all had to make sacrifices. As millions of businesses and shops all over the country have been closed down over the past year, our economy for the next generation is at risk. And yes, I can continue with these negatives for hours, but there is one positive that I think I should mention. Our environment. Our environment has benefited hugely from the lack of pollution in the air.
So you may be wondering, how can I help? Well, my advice to you is that you stand up to what is right. For example, Greta Thunberg, she stands up to what is right to this day. She never gives up.
People like Greta Thunberg inspire me to help with issues like climate change because it shows that even though we are younger, we can still make a difference.
Another great way you can get involved is to get protests and petitions. This will be a great way to spread people's awareness of what is going on in the world.
I found the last year quite difficult really, because I couldn't actually move into junior school properly. It's been quite weird.
So I couldn't properly see my friends and family that much. That was pretty sad.
It's affected me because I can't go to places I would like to go to. We haven't been able to travel or go to public places safely. Luckily, I just started school again, so I can see my friends and chat to them.
What affected me negatively the most was not being able to be with my nearest and dearest. And I missed seeing my children, and even more so my grandchildren. I missed hugging them, being with them, sitting with them in the same room, having dinner with them.
I feel sad for the missed opportunities to travel and explore the world and have new experiences. We've certainly learnt new skills as a family, and that's been really fun, but we also do like to get out and explore. I'm hoping that we have opportunities to do that in the future.
Help us change the world. Help us change the world.
Help us change the